Rutgers football is back. After much trials and tribulation, October 23rd, we'll be getting our first Rutgers football game of the season against Michigan State. Now, while I go through these predictions, I'll just give you a rundown of what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a rundown of each team and how they expect to do this season, and I will go through a worst case and a best case scenario for Rutgers. I'll go through what I think personally will happen in the game, and then finally I'll give some bold predictions at the end. So let's get right into it. Okay, so first we will get a quick rundown of the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So this season, Rutgers coming in with new or former head coach Greg Schiano, which looks like it should be a very good move for them, but we'll see. This is the first game of the Greg Schiano era 2.0. Now, last season, Rutgers finished with 139.3 passing yards per game, 134.3 rushing. They allowed 232.5 in the air, and they allowed 202.2 on the ground. And they had the 14th most difficult schedule in the country last year. Now, they're turning 76% of production on the offensive side and 79% on the defense. And 2019 through 20, their average recruiting rank was 63rd in the country. And a major thing here is they have 11 transfers coming in, with 4 or even 5 possibly being starters this year. So that's a big jump in talent possibly for Rutgers. Okay, now let's get into the opponent, the Michigan State Spartans. So last year the Spartans went 4-5 in Big Ten play. Rutgers obviously went 0-9. But interesting, Michigan State is bringing a new head coach. After Mark D'Antoni left, they're bringing Mel Tucker, who was the coach at Colorado. So it's the battle of two brand new head coaches. It's going to be a major game for both teams, really seeing how they're going to do in their first season with new head coaches. So Michigan State last year had 244.8 passing yards per game, 128.2 rushing yards per game, which is actually the only major set they have less than Rutgers. They allowed 207.8 through the air, and they allowed a very low 114.6 on the ground, which is close to about 80 less yards allowed than Rutgers. They had the 25th strength of schedule, which is only 11 spots behind Rutgers, as you can expect. They're in the same division. Returning production, this is a big one. Michigan State is only returning 43% of production on offense and 49% on defense. That is about a 43% less on offense than Rutgers and 30% less on defense. So now recruiting, they average 38.5 rank in the country for the last 2 years, which is good, about 15 spots ahead of Rutgers. But the thing is, they only have one transfer coming in that I can see from 24/7, and it was a long snapper. So yeah, that's not a big transfer. So Michigan State stuff had a better team last year, but Rutgers has definitely probably shortened that gap as they're returning more production. I personally think they got a better head coach. They got better transfers. So that should be interesting after last year's score, which I believe was 27-0 for the Spartans. So yeah, let's get into what I predict to happen. So worst case scenario, I think, for Rutgers is their O-line, which I think really is going to decide their season, does absolutely horrible. They can't do anything. They got pushed around. Isaiah Pacheco can't do anything on the run in the running game. And then they just can't do anything in the passing because there's a huge pass rush on whoever the quarterback is. I think it's going to be transfer Noah Vedral, but you never know. And then it's just the D-line can't do anything. They can't get any pressure. And then Michigan State just runs all over them. And it would be a blowout. It'll be like 30-0. That's worst case scenario, I think. Best case scenario, O-line does serviceable. And that really opens up the rushing game. Pacheco's able to get on the run. They're able to slow down time, keep the defense on the sideline for a little bit, give them some time. Vedral's able to make some smart decisions. He's able to scramble well, and he's just able to get going a little bit. Then defense, the lines are big for Rutgers, definitely. They're probably the biggest question marks on both sides of the ball. That's basically on D-line does very good. The secondary is very good. They'll do good anyway. Linebackers will do good. And that best case scenario basically comes out with like Rutgers winning by something like 7, maybe 10. That's like a best case scenario. Because you never know with Michigan State. They have a new head coach returning barely any production. So it's going to be interesting, actually. Like, Michigan State's a little bit of a question mark. You really don't know what they're going to do. Now, my realistic prediction is O-line looks bad, but they can hold up a little bit. Pacheco will run for enough. He's going to break tackles. Vedral, I think he's going to be started. I think he'll do decent. He's throwing accurate. I don't think he'll make many mistakes. I don't think he'll turn the ball over a lot. And like I said, D-line just serviceable, just fine. The secondary is able to stop the passing game, but Michigan State's going to run a lot. It's going to be a very slow game. It's going to be lots of running. Rutgers is going to be very difficult, actually, because Michigan State had a very good rushing game, but their best players are running back, so they're going to run. And you saw what Sean Gleason, the new offensive coordinator for Rutgers, did last year with Chuba Hubbard, or whatever his name was, at OSU, rushed for over 2,000 yards. I expect something similar from that. And I think this game maybe gets close in the fourth quarter, but I think Michigan State pulls away a little bit. I would say something like 27-17, maybe 27-20, Michigan State wins. I think it'll be close. I don't think it'll be like a blowout. I mean, I don't want to get my hopes high or anything because I don't want to get disappointed like I always do every season. But yeah, I'm saying about 27-17, Michigan State. Now, my two bold predictions is the Rutgers secondary forces multiple turnovers. Michigan State's pass game wasn't that great in the first place, and now they have a new quarterback because their quarterback graduated. So, yeah, they're going to pass, and I think the Rutgers secondary is very good. I think they have lots of potential. I think they force, whether that be a fumble, 2 picks maybe, I think they're going to force some turnovers. And my second is Vedral, who I think will start, will have about 200, maybe a little more passing yards, and he'll be able to rush for 50 yards. I think he's going to be, dual threat's going to be very good for Rutgers. If you can combine like that Lang in last year, we can run, and what Sikowski had against like Boston College last year, we threw for 300 yards. I don't know if he'll throw for that much. But he just needs to be serviceable. You don't want to turn over the ball. If Rutgers doesn't turn over the ball, they have a shot. That's all they have to do. So, yeah, that's actually my predictions for the game. Rutgers loses 27-17. Vedral throws for 200 and rushes for 50. And the secondary forces multiple turnovers. So we'll see how those predictions turn out, and thank you for watching. Okay, so if you've gotten to this point in the video, I'm going to assume you're either a Rutgers fan or you are a Michigan State fan. And if you're a Rutgers fan, you found the place. If you like Rutgers sports, subscribe to this channel. I'll be doing weekly predictions for Rutgers football games. I will try doing predictions for Rutgers basketball games. I'll try to definitely do the major ones. Try getting weekly predictions for basketball. So yeah, you like Rutgers sports? Subscribe to this channel. Perfect channel for you.